Hi, I'm here with Iain Morrison. Hello, Iain.
Hello, Al. Hello.
Tell us where you came from in order to be sitting at this table in the studio of the Kelly Writers House in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I came from Edinburgh in Scotland.
Oh, that's a long way.
It's a long way. It's a long way.
Yeah, why did you come?
Why did I come? Because
we invited you.
Yeah, although I think you're kind enough that
Existentially.
had I just turned up, you'd have let me in, I think. I have been listening to Pen Sounds and the podcasts for the last 12 years. And I think I've been gradually kind of like moving in a sort of orbit, like coming to the writer's house. And you kindly replied to a speculative email and pamphlet, not email, literal mail, that I sent you with some of my poems that mentioned you. And then our amazing friend C. Conrad hooked us all up with Laynie. And when you guys were coming to Scotland with ModPo last
October 2023.
Yeah, so nearly a year ago, and then we all just kind of became like enraptured of each other.
Yes,
I think. Yes.
No exaggeration.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're here, and we're taking a moment in a busy week of programming to record for ModPo a video that couldn't possibly do anything sufficient with this the most difficult poem of Emily Dickinson out of the 1,770 of them to understand. Laynie Browne, thank you for joining us for this.
My pleasure.
Wow, there's no way we'll do anything but scratch the surface. So let us not try to solve who is the I, who's got the gun, who is shooting whom, who is hunting whom. Oh, we'll never figure it out. But maybe we'll just sort of suggest what people can do with the whole problem of subjectivity here. You know, and the gendering of the relationships, and oh my goodness. So this is quite a poem. So would you, Iain, read it? And then Laynie, I think we're really only going to be able to scratch the surface. So why don't you direct us to a line or an idea that we can start with?
Okay.
My life had stood a loaded gun in corners till a day the owner passed, identified, and carried me away. And now we roam in sovereign woods, and now we hunt the doe. And every time I speak for him, the mountains straight reply. And do I smile? Such cordial light upon the valley glow, it is as a Vesuvian face had let its pleasure through. And when at night, our good day done, I guard my master's head, 'tis better than the eider duck's deep pillow to have shared. To foe of his, I'm deadly foe. None stir the second time on whom I lay a yellow eye or an emphatic thumb. Though I than he may longer live, he longer must than I, for I have but the power to kill without the power to die.
Oh boy. Laynie, where should we start? We won't finish, but where should we start?
Maybe then we should not start at the beginning.
No.
It's so loaded.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if we might want to start with talking about some of the pronouns.
All right, let's play with that. So let's just, knowing that there are many possibilities, let's go around and play a game. Pick a pronoun and try to identify what or who it is. So Laynie, you start.
I'm going to start with we.
Okay. Where is we occurred?
So
We roam and we hunt.
right, and
So that
now
would presumably
we roam in
be
the sovereign woods. We hunt the doe.
The hunter and the gun? Question mark?
Or it could be whoever is carried away along with the me,
Oh, you're really complicating it.
of course.
Okay. All right. Iain, pick a pronoun.
I. So, who is the I? Is the thing that can see the life. It's above the life. It's not just the life. It's the thing that can see what's happening to the life.
My goodness, you went right to the most complicated sense of I.
Yeah, but
is there a less complicated one that you can throw out for people to grab onto.
The speaker of the poem?
So the speaker of the poem could be the gun, could be the Dickinsonian speaker who's gun-like.
Could be that, yes. Yeah.
Right? And probably lightly gendered female, that is to say, serving a master who's gendered male.
Yeah, agree.
So like a female assistant, a wife, a mistress.
An assassin.
An assassin.
An assassin.
Well, I'm a deadly foe. Okay, now go to your complicated I. Back to it.
Well, yeah, and I'm doing the thing that we know that we can't finish, but it's just that thing of my life had stood. So at the start, it's not her, it's not she. If it's she who had stood, it was her life had stood. Where is she? She's watching her life happening to someone else somewhere else at a distance. The master coming to me is the moment of contracting the speaker with the speaker's life.
Right.
But at the end, the I seems to have lost the power to die. So what's happened?
So if the gun thing is all a giant metaphorical allegory, and really, there's no really in Dickinson, and really the narrative is about a speaker who has a life that seems expressible through an analogy to that life person being a gun that is an assistant to a guy who calls upon her, we'll call her, to do what she needs to do whenever she needs to serve her master. So you have this sort of enslaved figure, but powerful because she analogizes herself to a gun.
Yeah.
And is also powerful because being a gun and capable of killing, she's also not capable of dying because she's a gun, not a person.
Yeah.
So she's actually quite powerful, which is how Susan Howe reads this. Oh, boy. But then again, my life had stood as pre-analogy, pre-allegory, only lasts 4 words, and then the rest is about guns.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do another pronoun, which would be he, the only one that's the only one left that's obvious here. So, my master's head. So any he that follows could be the master, right? So the master seems to be sleeping on a good duck feather pillow. And the gun enslaved woman, speaker, I, is a foe to any foe of his. And you don't get a second chance when you're the foe of my master because I'm going to kill you. And then this I allows herself to lay on a yellow eye, which, I don't know, is target or whatever, and there's a thumb. I won't even try to deal with that. Though I, then he, so he is back, and now the rest is a comparison between he and I, he being protected and alive because of I, but he capable of dying and therefore being human, and I incapable of dying and therefore being inhuman. So he is crucial and is not I. There is at least a distinction between I and he.
Unless it switches, and the I, because there's another reading where at the end you could read it, because it's a very kind of, rhymey, sort of quite trite quatrain at the end. It's a bit Shakespearean.
Can you read it again?
Though I than he may longer live, he longer must than I, for I have but the power to kill without the power to die. It could be a
very Shakespearean.
Yeah, it could be like, or like the
soliloquy of some
kind. Or just that kind of like slightly too
John
clever
Donne.
ending. Yeah, exactly, the metaphysic.
George Herbert.
So at that point, it might just be like suddenly the letter is speaking or the poem speaking.
Oh my God, you're so smart. Yes, so the poem ends, after all this pronoun confusion, the poem ends with wink, wink. Emily here, I can write a quatrain like that.
Yeah.
I can do Shakespeare.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter really who anybody is because I'm the poet and I get the last word.
Yeah, potentially. So up until that point, it could have been like within the scene, and then you pull back to the kind of nod to the audience.
There I am. Laynie, what are you thinking?
I'm just thinking that this idea that the speaker is like a person who's become a gun, who's separated from their life, from their power, and therefore they can't die because they're a gun, that it can also be read as the person can't die because they're, for all intents and purposes, already dead. So it's the opposite of immortality.
Have no life.
Yeah.
So if you were deprived because you're a servant of this guy who has a gun, who needs a gun by his side, who's got enemies out there, or deer, or whatever, and if you're that person who has to serve this person, you have your life is gone. You've given up your life, in other words, right?
Yeah.
But do you not think because I'm interested, you keep bringing the sort of idea of the enslaved or the servant. For me, there's a kind of kink element to it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's get to the kink.
Yeah.
Because this is a very sexual poem.
And he's in
Let's do
bed
sex
with
now.
the gun.
Yeah.
In bed with the gun, and the gun is loyal, so what's going on there?
And like the speaker
gun
sounds
might be feminized.
thrilled to have been like carried away by the owner. It's like, you know,
Right.
sub and dom kind of.
Yeah.
So I've been
yeah.
lying, and I've been standing in the corner all these years.
Yeah.
And finally the guy needs me.
Yeah.
So he takes me to bed.
Yeah.
And then he takes me out and kills his enemies.
Yeah.
And you know, when you have deer being killed, that's like Renaissance sexuality right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
it is.
John
yeah.
Donne.
Yeah, hunting the doe. Yeah,
Totally.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're there. Yeah, all the Acteon metaphors and it's
Ick. How do we understand the sexuality finally? What's the Dickinsonian sexuality here?
'Tis better than the eider's duck, deep billow to have shared. I guard my master's head. 'Tis better than the eider ducks to guard. I mean,
Wait.
wow.
I mean, I'm better than the pillow?
the
I serve
the I is saying that it's better to share the bed, the pillow, with the master
then.
than to be I'm not sure.
Sitting in the corner.
Yeah.
When at night, our good day done, we went out, he took me out, and I shot Vesuvius-like. I blew it all.
Yeah,
I blew it out.
brilliant.
I did what I had to do,
Yeah.
right? I achieved great, powerful, deadly pleasure. After that, it's beddy time. And my job is to get in bed, the guy sleeping with the gun,
Yeah.
to get in bed with
'Cause
the
killing
Second
is
Amendment
hot.
guy. Killing is hot. And something is better.
She's not really
So sleeping with a gun is better than the soft pillow.
right.
I don't think there is any soft pillow. I think
The eider.
The eider duck's
yeah,
deep
but
pillow.
no, but I don't think it's there. I think it's like he's not on that pillow.
Better as if.
Yeah,
as
because she's
better
guarding
than
the head
as
in
if.
the woods. They're still off in the woods somewhere.
To have shared. To have shared.
Yeah,
And then there's this
because
dash.
she's guarding her head.
A dash
guarding
works
the
like a
heads.
period there.
Yeah.
So better to have shared what? Better to have shared the bed with this guy than to have allowed a pillow to share. He doesn't have a pillow, he has me.
Yeah, I think he's saying that I could be on my own back when I was in corners and at night I slept in a comfy bed, but now I'm out in the sovereign woods hunting and we're
And
just
now
on
I
the
have
ground.
a purpose and I get to sleep with the guy.
Yeah, and that's better than or sleep with or
Protect.
yeah. There's a
Or is
self-denial
the gun
thing.
hanging over the bed, guarding the head, where the master sleeps on the deep pillow, and it's better to be.
Well, somebody
or
sneaks
right by
into
the
the
bed.
cabin.
Yeah.
Somebody sneaks into the cabin. I'm going to take care of him. He only gets one shot at that, not two.
Do you think she's still denying herself the pleasure? And is that part of the pleasure she's taking? That's a question I don't have an answer.
I don't know because
Yeah.
I mean, that is very ambiguous. I guard and when at night. Hour. We didn't talk about the hour.
We didn't talk about
Hour.
hour, yeah.
Good day
another
done.
pronoun.
That could be the she, I, gun, and the master,
Yes,
he.
definitely.
Our good day done. I guard my master's head. So I mean, that line in itself could be really sexual.
Yeah, sure.
Or
Yeah,
it
it could,
could
yeah,
be
yeah.
that the gun is propped by the bed or hanging by the bed
what
or
guard
in
means.
the bed.
Right.
What might it mean?
To guard the head is better than sleeping in a pillow.
Okay, to finish
So
with
that
the
seems
Renaissance sexuality,
Orgasm.
Orgasm.
death and sex, yes.
Yeah.
death, sex and death, yes.
Yes.
So The ending is complicated by that because he lives longer
Yeah, exactly.
than I do. I die,
Yeah.
but I can't die.
Yeah. Yeah,
So I'm not,
then
I'm
it's a
not really
conceit.
fulfilled.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
the conceit.
This is not
yeah,
a happy
yeah.
situation.
No.
Oh,
But it's exciting.
what the heck is she doing with this poem?
What does it mean? What might it mean to become someone's loaded gun? Like, in a relationship? What does that look like? Like, are you someone who goes out to bat for the person?
It sounds
like-
violent to me.
Yeah. Is
you're
it
like a
someone who sticks
thug.
up
A
for
loaded
you?
gun is like on the brink
Okay.
of violence,
Right.
always.
Maybe also absorbing all of the violence and hostility of the he. Becoming, like, that's projected onto the instrument, the gun, the mistress or whatever.
You know, so it's not, there are some things that can be triggered here.
Triggered.
Yeah, triggered. Some things can be triggered. But
that's
it's pretty,
a gun talk.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
No, but I
You're
yes,
deliberately punning.
I am, yes.
Okay.
So when you have when the gun is loaded and you're hanging around, it's one thing to have a loaded gun when you go hunting. It's another thing to have the gun always loaded at night, especially in bed. Accidents can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what triggers it? Well, you know, the classic, there's a gun in the house, which is, at least in the United States, produces statistics where there's much greater likelihood someone will die with a gun, a loaded gun.
But they didn't have those statistics when she
No,
wrote
but this is like the perfect
Yes.
anti-NRA,
right.
you know, poster. But what I'm saying is this whole question of the violence that comes out of it, the master is unlikely to be the one that dies. What gets triggered is the master's enemy coming into the zone, whether it be a deer or an enemy, some kind of foe. So the gun, who is in the servitude position, is likely to have less power, even though more power technically. And the trigger is like very violent. It's a relationship based on violence, which is kind of an understatement.
Yeah. Is there a possibility of reading? I don't think that you can read the end like this, but like I'm interested in that sort of gender switch reversal of the idea of a male muse. Can we imagine a male muse figure? Because you know, you're talking about, obviously the Vesuvius is a clue to, you know, the whole idea of poetry and the top of her head coming off, and then she knows it's poetry.
Volcanoes be in Sicily, but this one's closer to home.
Yeah, if there's a sense of like until I found poetry, like I had been a loaded gun, but now I'm off in the sovereign woods, and there's a sense of the poetic questing. I don't know how to resolve that with the idea for the ending though. But
Well, no, it can work. That's a good reading. It works with the ending because if this poem is Vesuvian itself, it's a little too controlled for being a classic Dickinsonian explosion.
Yeah.
But it's pretty explosive. And if it is Vesuvian, then she ends with that great power that cannot be extinguished. And of course, Vesuvius will keep blowing every time it needs to.
And that would make sense also reading all of the pronouns, all of the actors as parts of one person that have been split.
Oh.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
If it's all part of one. So
That's
my
Susan,
life,
that's
my
one
life.
of Susan Howe's
Susan Howe's reading, yeah.
readings, which I like a lot.
The reference here is to a book called My Emily Dickinson, which is in some ways, an entire close reading of this poem. This is a central poem in that book. All right, final thoughts about this non-final poem.
yeah.
It is, for me, it is the most complicated Dickinson poem out of the 1700 to talk about.
So good.
And good, therefore.
Yeah.
Final thought?
I'm going to say I think part of the reason it can be one of the most complicated poems is its length. It's not often that she makes it to 6 stanzas, is that right? And the ones where she does have those kinks in them. The other one I would really recommend for people is I tie my hat, I crease my shawl, life's little duties do, which has, spoiler, a bomb in it. So it also has this huge potential violence, and it's really hard to work out, as it is here, exactly what the triggers might be to that violence and what the efficacy or the use of the violence could be. So I'm just going to be excited about the fact that it's a longer poem from Emily Dickinson, and thank goodness there are some of those for us to really kind of get into the twists and really complicated heliocyclic structures of.
Great. Laynie,
My
final
thought is a quote from my Emily Dickinson, where Susan Howe writes about the last stanza. From first word to the last, my life, my art, my power dies into rhymed order. Rhyme and meaning are one. Death completes my life and makes it mine. Master is still sleeping. Gun still soliloquizing. Self will fight. Transformation. Hold fast, alert, unresting. Like victory, justice, words. My mind must be ready to change sides.
Wow. Wow.
That's critical prose. My mind must be ready to change sides.
We could spend a long time on that, but
Yes, we could.
we won't.
Thank you for
But we
reading that.
won't.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have two thoughts. One is a fullish thought. The other is just a quickie. The full thought. I think this is a great lesson for poetry readers in the problems of subjectivity, right? This is just the perfect way of teaching someone or explaining to someone how a poem can defy the subject-object relations that we think are conventional. And it uses a quasi-gendered relationship of a man and his gun
Yes.
as a test of whether you can sustain the separation of the I and the him and the we, the our. And you can't, and you shouldn't,
Yeah.
especially when the weak is actually more powerful than the strong. And so subjectivity gets all balled up. And I think she's clearly playing with that.
Wow. I like that reading a lot. Yeah, that's kind of psychoanalytic kind of getting
well, this is
yeah.
this
Yeah.
poem calls out to the psychoanalytic reading.
Yeah, for sure.
And my tiny point is my admiration for the echo, which is, I think, meta-poetic. And now we roam in sovereign woods, and now we hunt the deer. I love the and now.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And every time I speak for him, the mountains straight reply. That's the echo of the booming of the...
I love that, yeah.
But also, it's like I speak. So I am a speaker of a poem here, but I am in servitude. But when I speak, it's loud, and the mountains at least call back to me. You know, we know you're there.
Yeah.
We got you. Anytime you're in trouble, just blow the gun off.
Yeah.
We'll answer
Never mind
you.
the guy.
People-
Let's be inanimate objects together.
Right.
You know. Like
we are speaking to you. You are being heard. You're being heard.
yeah.
Iain, thank you so much.
Thanks. Gorgeous.
This was amazing. Who chose this poem?
You chose this
I
poem.
chose it. Okay.
Good choice. Great
You
choice.
know, I just really wanted us to have a video about this poem because we've been shying away from it. Laynie, Browne, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Great.